Now let's turn our attention to Thailand, where a brewing political crisis was just delayed. Today was supposed to have been a landmark day at the courts. 3 different hearings took place. All of them had the potential to rock Thailand's political system and possibly cause mass protests. 3 Thai leaders were facing a reckoning. The sitting Prime Minister, Srettha Thavisin, a former Prime Minister, Thaksin Shinawatra, and the leader barred from becoming Prime Minister, Pita Limjaroenrat. All 3 were in the crosshairs. The Thai courts were in fact hearing cases against all of them. Let's start with the case of Srettha, the sitting Prime Minister. He is a former real estate tycoon. He entered politics very recently, just last year. That's when he became a candidate for the Pheu Thai party, the party that came second in the last general election, the one that happened last year. Srettha was the leader of this party. He was, in fact, not the leader of his party, but he was chosen as Prime Minister. He helms a coalition government comprising the populist Pheu Thai party and a host of other pro-military and royalist parties. It's an uneasy arrangement because historically the Pheu Thai party has been at odds with the Thai military. The military has orchestrated multiple coups in the past to oust Pheu Thai party governments. So the current ruling coalition is a marriage of convenience, and the cracks are starting to show. Srettha's prime ministership is being challenged in court because he appointed a questionable advisor to his cabinet. The appointment sparked a political row, and 40 senators appointed by the military are seeking the prime minister's dismissal. The Thai courts heard the case today. The next hearing is scheduled for the 10th of July, so the current prime minister is still at risk. But he's in a better position than one of his predecessors, that's Thaksin Shinawatra. Thaksin has been indicted on a charge of royal defamation. Prosecutors say that he insulted the Thai monarchy back in 2015. That's when he's said to have insulted them. And the prosecutors want to imprison the former prime minister for this alleged slight. Now, Thailand is notorious for this, for its lèse-majesté law. Any perceived insult of the royal family can fetch a prison sentence, extending for up to 15 years per insult. 15 years per insult. People have been given decades in prison over this, just for making fun of the Thai royal family. And now Thaksin Shinawatra faces the same prospect. But the royal insult charge seems to be an eyewash, a convenient excuse to put pressure on Thaksin and by extension on the Pheu Thai party, the same party that the current prime minister belongs to. Thaksin Shinawatra is the Pheu Thai party's founder. His family still controls it. So the Shinawatra clan is said to be the real power in Thailand, not the current prime minister. And it seems that their opponents are not taking any chances. So both Srettha and Thaksin are fighting cases. It looks like a strong arm tactic.
The case is lacking in various evidential aspects which we have tried to point out to prosecutors to consider. However, they have decided to overlook those missing parts and move forward with prosecuting us. Well, we're here to fight the case.
The courts have confiscated Thaksin's passport. He's out on bail, but he's not out of danger. His next hearing is on August 19th. Now we come to the third case, the one against Thailand's biggest opposition party. It's called the Move Forward Party. Now this is the party that won the election last year. They won about 30% of the vote. They were about to form the government with other non-military, non-royalist parties like the Pheu Thai. But Thailand's Senate intervened. The Senate is appointed by the military. They vetoed the winning party's bid. And they set off a chain reaction. Coalition partners were forced to break up. The current coalition was then formed with pro-military parties in power. Meanwhile, the winner, the Move Forward Party, now faces dissolution. Its very existence is being challenged. Today, Thailand's Constitutional Court set a hearing date, that is July 3rd. And this means that Thailand's largest opposition party has a few weeks left. Now, throughout this story, you would have noticed some common threads, a pattern. That the military and the royalists are pulling the strings and they're using the courts to crush their opposition. This has historically been the case in Thailand. Their military has always had an outsized say in the government, and they have backdoor channels of influence, like the Senate, which the military selects. It's been instrumental in crushing opposition. But this overreach also has consequences. This is subversion of democracy. It could trigger mass protests like the ones that rocked Thailand in 2020. And all this instability is bad for business. Thailand is a country with a lot of potential, but the constant power struggles, the military versus democracy tussle, weakens Thailand's prospects. If there were political stability, Thailand could do better. Focus on boosting its economy and bettering the lives of common citizens. Hopefully, the Thai military realizes this and decides to work with opposing political parties instead of trying to oust them at every turn.